all 33 Saiyans ranked from weakest to strongest, from Dragon Ball Z all the way to Dragon Ball Super. If you enjoy, subscribe as this will be a long one. The weakest Saiyan on this list should be Gine, the mother of Goku and Raditz, as well as Bardock's wife. Gine is described to be unusual in terms of being a Saiyan, as while she is a low-class warrior, she seems to lack the aggression that is within the blood of their species, though she is protective of Kakarot and Raditz. Gine's power level hasn't been stated in any sort of official guidebooks or media, but we do know that she was part of Bardock's squad, with their power levels ranging in the few thousands, so that could be a good start. However, it's stated that she had to be constantly saved by Bardock whenever they were in a pickle, which means that Gine was either the weakest of the group, or her gentle personality made her unsuited for combat. But honestly, it could be both. Either way, as far as we know, Gine would be the weakest named Saiyan, aside from some unnamed Saiyans on planet Vegeta, which we don't know about. Next on the list would be Beats, and just a reminder that Beats is not to be confused with Beat, the Saiyan hero from Dragon Ball Heroes verse. Beats made his first appearance in Dragon Ball Super Broly, and we find out that he's a non-combatant Saiyan. Rather than fight with his hands and ki blasts, he's simply equipped with a ray gun. He's an engineer for the Saiyan race, and is responsible for maintenance on space pods and ships, and is taken by Paragus with force in order to save Broly. In terms of power, Beats is also pretty weak, possibly even weaker than Gine, if you consider the fact that she used to be on Bardock's squad. When Beats uses his scouter to detect Broly's power level, it's at 920, which shocks the Saiyan as he states that baby Broly's power level is even higher than his. And mind you, this was after baby Broly went back to base form due to previously transforming into a great ape, which would have made his power level a whopping 9,200. Tarbell is actually one of the more interesting Saiyans, and he first made his appearance in the 2008 Dragon Ball special called Yo, Son Goku and his friends return, and this special takes place a bit after the Buu saga. It's revealed that Tarbell is actually Vegeta's younger brother. He was sent away by King Vegeta due to having a low power level, and like Gine, lacking that natural Saiyan aggression, which makes them excellent warriors. Tarbell made his way to Earth in order to ask for Vegeta's help in fighting against Abo and Kado, two aliens who are stated to be just as strong as Frieza was on Namek, but the exact level is unknown, as Frieza has multiple forms. Originally, I presumed that Tarbell was in that sort of Namek Frieza power range, as Abo and Kado stated that Tarbell gave them some trouble. But it actually makes more sense for the line to refer to Tarbell's ability to escape, which is the whole reason as to why Abo and Kado followed him to Earth in the first place. The status quo is that Tarbell is a weakling that was sent away, and this notion never really changes. He constantly has his beliefs challenged, such as Saiyans having limits, and needing to rely on crutches such as scouters to gauge someone's power. And both times he is proven wrong, when Goku first transforms into a Super Saiyan, or when it's revealed that Goku can suppress his power level down to a measly 5. So for all these reasons, that's where Tarbell is ranked. In the 30th spot, we would have Raditz, Goku's elder brother and Bardock's first son. Raditz appeared in the first arc of Dragon Ball, where we learn that Goku is not only an alien, but he has an estranged brother. Raditz had a power level of 1,500, but never really used his full power until he stopped underestimating Goku and Piccolo. He realized that they could actually pose a threat to him, via their techniques such as the Kamehameha and the special beam cannon. Despite Raditz being such a threat in the first arc, he had enough weaknesses that could be exploited. These include his scouter. As stated earlier, he was a slave to it just like Tarbell was, and believed it could dictate every battle for him, when in actuality, he couldn't fathom that certain species possessed different techniques that could pose a threat to him. Another of his weaknesses would be his tail. All Saiyans are born with tails that can be used to transform into giant ape-like creatures or simply a great ape. As long as they look at the moon or a source of light giving them the necessary Blutz waves to trigger the transformation, they can transform and gain a 10 times boost. However, it seems like Raditz was unaware of this technique, as only Vegeta has been shown to use it, as in the artificial moon. However, the tail has a weakness, as if it's grabbed, it will immediately weaken your body until it is let go of, which Goku exploited in his battle with Raditz, as he also had a tail in the past, which was exploited. Aside from Gine, Fascia was the only female member of Bardock's squad, and quite frankly, the only other female Saiyan we've seen in the series. It's clear that among the other Saiyans, she's one of the more level-headed and honorable ones, though that ruthlessness and combat skill is still deeply ingrained within her. As for her power level, it can be a bit contentious. You can either use Dragon Ball Cardass as a reference, or analyze the Bardock special, specifically the battle on planet Kanassa. Dragon Ball Cardass is a trading fighting card series made by Bandai in 1991, made and only released in Japan. Fasha's card states that she has a power level of 2000, while it's in the Bardock special, she isn't injured by any means up to the Battle of Kanasa, yet Shugesh gains a scar on his cheek despite being in his Great Ape form. Shugesh is another member of Bardock Squad, and I stated earlier was the only one injured on planet Kanasa. This would make you think he's weaker than Fasha. In Dragon Ball Kadas, he has a power level of 4200, literally double that of Fasha's power. So as I said, it's really up to you. If you think Dragon Ball Kadas is more reliable, then Shugesh would be stronger than Fasha. However, if you think that the Bardock special is more reliable, as everyone on Kanasa was at full power via their Great Ape forms, then Fasha should be stronger. However, the next two seem to be more accurate as the power levels line up, as well as their performance in battle. Bulgo is another member of Bardock Squad, who went uninjured on Kanasa, but died when he was jumped by Dodoria and his crew on planet Meat. We actually see that during the battle, while this Fasha and Shugesh were dead, Tora and Borgos were still alive. While this Borgos was killed in one hit, Tora was still alive, though barely. Borgos has a power level of 4000 in Dragon Ball Kadas, while this Tora is at 5000. Tora survived for longer than Borgos and didn't die in one hit, so Tora should be above Borgos. Cutting in between Team Bardock would be Paragus, Broly's father. Paragus was by no means a low-class soldier and was an established military colonel for King Vegeta, until his son was born. Broly at birth had even greater potential than Prince Vegeta, breaking all known records in Saiyan history and shattering King Vegeta's scouter, while this he was still in his nursing capsule. King Vegeta, out of jealousy and also fear of Broly's potential, would send him away to a remote planet known as Vampa. We wouldn't see Paragus again until 40 years had passed, and he was clearly past his prime in terms of power and looks. Chile's scouter measured Paragus's power level as 4200, but as I stated earlier, this is an older Paragus, and it's more than likely that he's lost some power due to aging. At his prime, his power level should have been far higher. This would actually make Paragus's power level higher than Nappa, who had a power level of 4000 in most guides. However, I believe Nappa's power should technically qualify as being higher, as after all, this list is based on the Saiyan being ranked at their absolute best, from weakest to strongest. We then have Tora, the second strongest member of Bardock's squad, as he's only outmatched by the man himself. Tora had a power level of 5000, as stated in Dragon Ball Kadas, and it's consistent with his showings in the Bardock special, as he's the only member of Bardock's squad to survive Dodoria and his crew. Mind you, Dodoria had a power level of around 22,000, and his squad members should be quite strong as they were able to damage Bardock, albeit he was distracted and caught off guard. And in Dragon Ball, even the strongest enemies can be damaged by weaker opponents if caught off guard. A bit off topic, but in the Bardock special, it's actually revealed that Bardock's red bandana is stained with Tora's blood and was actually a bandage that Tora kept around his arm. The small detail is quite bittersweet when you realize that every battle Bardock goes into is with that bandana on, and it's not just him fighting, but the other members of his crew, the blood of his crew. Nappa is a mid-class warrior who first appeared in the Saiyan saga, but also made an appearance in the Bardock special. He's been around Vegeta ever since he was a child, and has constantly assisted Vegeta in taking over planets. Nappa isn't as intelligent of a fighter as Goku or Vegeta, and literally uses brute strength to win. And his destructive personality doesn't help, as he's intent on nothing but murder and mayhem as soon as he arrives on Earth. Despite his brash attitude, he is quite strong, as with a flick of his fingers, he's able to wipe an entire city off the face of the Earth, with just a power level of 4000. However, the reason why I put Nappa above Tora and Paragus is that during his battle with Goku, he actually gets stronger, as first he gets absolutely styled on, as Goku is so fast that he can't even hit him, and Goku is able to literally flex off blasts from Nappa, with those same blasts one-shotting fighters like Piccolo. However, Vegeta yells at Nappa to calm down and concentrate, and once he does, Goku actually begins to have a bit of trouble. He's still able to dodge and evade Nappa, but states that this fight may take way longer to finish than he thought. And if you weren't aware, Saiyans literally adapt and get stronger mid-battle. Nappa becomes so strong that when he decides to target Krillin and Gohan, Goku has to use Kaioken to one-shot Nappa, rather than just use his own strength and speed to intercept him. So Nappa went from being no diffed by Goku to being low, or arguably the middest of mid-diffs at his strongest when fighting against Goku. So with that reason, he's placed here. We then have Bardock, Goku's father, and one of the more well-known and beloved Saiyans aside from Goku and Vegeta. His resemblance to Goku is uncanny, aside from a scar on his face. Bardock was a low-class Saiyan in charge of his own squad, but over time he began to get stronger and stronger to the point of gaining Frieza's attention and supposed recognition. But what made Bardock so different from the other Saiyans? Did he just have crazy potential? Well, actually it's pretty simple. The Saiyans of the old generation had limiting beliefs and mindsets when it came to one's power. A Saiyan's potential and worth is determined from birth, depending on their power level. If they are born weak, they are either made low-class Saiyans or are sent to infiltrate other planets and eventually conquer them, like Goku was supposed to do to Earth. However, if they are born with higher power level than usual, they are granted the rank of mid-class or possibly even elite Saiyan. Despite being born a low-class Saiyan, Bardock basically grinded his whole life and kept going on missions. These missions were a constant battle of life or death, and every time Bardock came back, he was either half dead or on the brink of death. He would then be healed and recover, and he would always come back stronger. Bardock didn't even realize it, but he was actually abusing Zenkai boosts. These Zenkai boosts can range anywhere from 18,000 to 24,000 like Vegeta was after recovering from his battle on Earth, or even a staggering 90,000 to 3 million like Goku's was after recovering from his battle with the Ginyu Force on Namek. Bardock's power level was climbing so high that in the TV special, it stated that he was approaching the power level of King Vegeta, and he might eventually surpass it. This is where fans tend to get confused on the whole Bardock vs King Vegeta matchup, as it's unofficially stated that King Vegeta had a power level of 10,000, which is flat out wrong. We don't know King Vegeta's power level, but it's stated by Vegeta himself in the Namek saga that as a child, his power level was even higher than the King's. If we use the Daizenshu statement, then King Vegeta should be above Bardock. I don't even think Bardock actually got a Zenkai post-Dodoria fight, as he escapes planet Meat, Clash lands on planet Vegeta, and is literally crawling his way back to the other Saiyans to warn them. Though, the specifics of Zenkai boosts seem to change, as despite not physically healing, Saiyans have gotten stronger by simply surviving near-death battles. So if you believe in that statement more, then Bardock would be above King Vegeta, as King Vegeta died before Bardock, which would make Bardock the strongest Saiyan on planet Vegeta before he died, which would then transfer over to Vegeta. Though there is a add-on of the Bardock TV shenanigans and plot holes, specifically when it comes to the final fight. Bardock is sent back in time and arrives on planet Vegeta before it was known as planet Vegeta and fights against Lord Chilled, Frieza's ancestor. Bardock is shown to not be strong enough to fight Lord Chilled, but he begins to get enraged when he is reminded of how similar Chilled is to Frieza, and after remembering his fallen comrades, he gets even more angry and transforms into a Super Saiyan. Super Saiyan Bardock is able to low diff Chilled, and before Chilled dies, he tells his soldiers to spread the legend of the Super Saiyan to his ancestors, which is supposedly how Frieza knows of the transformation. But Bardock was the one to fight Frieza all those years into the future, so it gets confusing because, like, how would Frieza know about the legend of the Super Saiyan if it was Bardock in the past, even though Bardock is right in front of him? Regardless, it's supposed to be a fan service movie, so I guess it shouldn't be taken too seriously, but if you believe that episode of Bardock is canon to the OG TV special, then it should act as a continuation and further increase Bardock's power to the point where he's above King Vegeta, even in base form, as upon waking up on OG planet Vegeta, he's been healed and has been recovered. There isn't much to say for King Vegeta, as I've already covered him when going over Bardock. His placement depends on what you consider as canon and factual. If you believe that the TV Bardock special has a continuation, then Bardock is above him. So if you believe that Bardock got a Zenkai after his battle with Dodoria, then he would be above King Vegeta at his peak. But if you consider that as non-canon, then King Vegeta should be above Bardock. But regardless, he'd still be below Prince Vegeta, as it's stated by Vegeta that he had surpassed his father as a child. Turles would be next, and it would be above the likes of Bardock and King Vegeta. He's a low-class Saiyan, who strangely looks a lot like Goku, and some fans jokingly refer to him as the original evil Goku or OG Goku Black. He makes his first appearance in DBZ Movie 3, and invades Earth with the intention of using it to grow his Tree of Might, and uses its fruit to gain even more power. Goku, despite using Kaioken times 10, which should put his power level at 300,000, Turles was still able to overpower and outspeed him, though was defeated by Goku after he absorbed the energy from the Tree of Might, and created a spirit bomb that one-tapped Turles. Though Turles' power at his peak was incredible, as after eating one fruit from the Tree of Might, he's above Kaioken times 10 Goku with a power level of 300,000. But before his death, he eats another fruit, which would put his power level at first form Frieza levels of power, possibly even above if you account for the power boost he gained from eating the first fruit. Yamoshi was the original Super Saiyan that appeared many years ago before the actual story of Dragon Ball even begins. He was stated to be unique for a Saiyan, in the sense that despite belonging to such a brutal and cold-hearted race, he had a righteous heart. He started a rebellion with 5 other Saiyans with righteous hearts like himself, but was cornered by all the other Saiyans. After all his comrades were lost in battle, he became enraged and transformed into a Super Saiyan. His powerful transformation and fearsome fighting style shocked the other Saiyans, but he was still killed after wearing himself down due to not having a perfect grasp on the Super Saiyan transformation. Yamoshi's spirit would wander, and in search of 6 pure-hearted Saiyans just like himself and his fallen comrades, he would find that in Goku and his friends many years later after they performed the God Ritual, which would result in Goku turning into a Super Saiyan God. Despite Yamoshi's power level never officially being stated, it should be higher than everyone on this list, as Yamoshi was not only strong enough to fight against all the other Saiyans, probably coming at him at the same time, but he was strong enough to actually become a Super Saiyan. It's actually a misconception that you need to just go through trauma or the death of an ally to become a Super Saiyan, as some fans question why Goku didn't become a Super Saiyan all the way back in OG Dragon Ball once Goku found Krillin's body after he had been killed by Tambourine. It's stated in the Daizenshu that a Saiyan needs to have a certain power level to even be strong enough to handle the power of the Super Saiyan transformation, and for good reason, since the form absolutely makes every other technique in Dragon Ball aside from higher tier forms absolutely fodder, such as Kaioken, Kamehameha, or the Destructo Disc. The form gives the user a 50 times multiplier on top of their base power, so it absolutely makes sense as to why you need a certain level of strength to handle its power. Goku all the way back in OG Dragon Ball had a power level of 180 after the 22nd World Martial Arts Tournament, making him equal to Tien. Now compare that to his base power level of 3 million when he was on Namek and you'll get my point. In the 19th and 18th spot, it'd be Goten and Trunks. By this point in the story, they should be equal, but their actual power is really contentious. Originally in the Buu Saga, Trunks was actually stronger than Goten due to being older and having a bit more experience than him, but Goten's potential is ridiculous as he actually forced a rusty Gohan to try, and was so powerful and prodigious that Gohan stated in his head that if he didn't get serious with his training, he would eventually be surpassed by Goten and Trunks. They would primarily rely on fusion during the Buu Saga, so we don't get to focus on their individual power as much, but it's clear that they are among the weakest, as they are nothing compared to even Fat Buu. His weakest form yet. Later on in Dragon Ball Super though, at least in the manga, they have to protect Android 17's island for 48 minutes, whilst he participates in the Tournament of Power. It's revealed that some Cell Juniors survived, and Super Saiyan Goten and Trunks seem to fight evenly with the Cell Juniors, and these Cell Juniors are even stronger than the original ones, which could bully Grade 2 Vegeta, Trunks, Piccolo, the other humans, and even Mastered Super Saiyan Goku. There's also the Daizenshu statement of the Cell Juniors supposedly being close to perfect Cell in power, but it's both arguable and contentious. Now, this is very surprising, but if you're a Dragon Ball fan, you kind of understand this. While a Cell doesn't physically look like a Saiyan, he has the Saiyan cells thanks to Goku and Vegeta's genes, which still makes him part Saiyan, so he could technically qualify as like the Saiyan humans. Cell started off being weaker than Piccolo, who had become a Super Namekian after fusing with Kami, putting him above Super Saiyan Goku and even Super Saiyan Vegeta. Cell would escape his battle with Piccolo and go on to absorb countless humans, with their life force being enough to grant him power even greater than Piccolo's. The same Piccolo who was equal to Android 17. Imperfect Cell would then absorb Android 17 and become semi-perfect, and become so powerful that only a Vegeta who spent a full year training inside the hyperbolic time chamber could surpass his power with the Grade 2 transformation, or Super Vegeta. Super Vegeta was far above semi-perfect Cell and could tank his attacks, causing Cell to target Vegeta's ego by telling Vegeta that if he achieved his perfect form, he could defeat him. Vegeta, desperately wanting a better fight due to his Saiyan genes, would allow Cell to absorb Android 18 and become perfect, which was Vegeta's biggest mistake. Perfect Cell was so far above Vegeta that he could tank any attack Vegeta sent his way, and even a charged up Final Flash was only able to blow off half of Cell's body, which he could easily regenerate from. Even Future Trunks, who hit an entirely new form that was beyond Grade 2 in power, was still no match for Perfect Cell. The only one who could defeat Perfect Cell was Gohan, who achieved Super Saiyan 2 with a Rage Boost after Android 16's death, and watching his friends and father being tormented and hurt by Cell and Cell Juniors. Super Saiyan 2, Gohan forced Cell to use his full power, which Gohan wasn't even impressed by, and Gohan literally no-diff Perfect Cell and was able to punch him so hard that he threw up Android 18, reverting him to his semi-perfect form, and with him becoming weaker. This is what led Perfect Cell to resort to blowing himself up in order to destroy the Earth and the other Saiyans. Before he can though, Goku sacrifices himself using instant transmission to teleport Cell to King Kai's planet. However, Cell was able to not only survive the blast, but gain a Zenkai boost and be able to copy Goku's instant transmission, becoming Super Perfect Cell. As he states that just like Gohan, he's powered up, which could mean one of two things. Either he also gained Super Saiyan 2, or he got a power up on Gohan's level, like some rage boost. I'd argue that it's the former, as visibly Cell has changed, as he now has an even fiercer aura, and the electricity sparks that users of Super Saiyan 2 possess are there, and it seems more likely that, at least in the anime, Cell has some variation of Super Saiyan, as his aura, whenever he's fighting against Goku or the others, is yellow and all that. Super Perfect Cell is so powerful that he's able to damage one of Gohan's arms so severely to the point where he can only use one to fight. Though to be fair, Gohan did damage his arm by rushing in to save Vegeta without protecting himself, meaning that he was kinda off guard, but not really, so that's up to you. But Gohan is still stronger though, as he was able to hold his own against Cell in a beam struggle while he's using half of his ki, while his Cell was using everything he had, and the moment he went full power was the moment that Cell lost. We then have Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks from the Buu saga, who's actually far stronger than you remember. Goten and Trunks were already prodigies, but put their power together and you get crazy results. To start with, Fat Buu was already above every Super Saiyan 2, even Majin Vegeta, who got a power boost after letting Babidi use his magic on him. Majin Vegeta had to blow himself up in order to defeat Fat Buu, but his regeneration was too strong to overcome, so Goku had to pull out an entirely new form that's 4 times stronger than a Super Saiyan 2 in order to actually overpower Fat Buu. But he didn't defeat him due to wanting to leave it up to the next generation. He'd go on to train Goten and Trunks in fusion, and they would train in the hyperbolic time chamber. They would soon be joined by Piccolo and Super Buu, which is the result of evil within Fat Buu taking over him. Super Buu was so powerful that he's absolutely slapped a Super Saiyan Gotenks and only got injured due to Gotenks' unique techniques. He's so powerful that he literally shouted his way out of the hyperbolic time chamber after Piccolo blew up the exit. Gotenks would then power up even further and reveal that he too, just like Goku, can use Super Saiyan 3, and would copy Buu's feat of shouting his way out of the time chamber. Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks is so powerful that he's able to surpass Super Buu, who's far stronger than Fat Buu, who Goku needed Super Saiyan 3 against, and later on in the manga wouldn't even bother trying to fight against Super Buu. So, Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks over Super Buu, over Super Saiyan 3 Goku, over Fat Buu. Next up is Super Vegito, who's easily the strongest character in all of Dragon Ball Z. Vegito is the Batora fusion between Goku and Vegeta, achieved during the Buu saga. Base Vegito in the anime is so incredibly powerful, as he's able to fight and damage Buhan to the point where it actually seems like he can defeat him in just base. The only point in time where Vegito actually struggles is when Buhan throws an attack at Vegito, which threatens to destroy the planet. Vegito simply powers up more and kicks it right back at Buhan. From here, Vegito just transforms into Super Saiyan. You also need to remember that even ignoring what is shown, based on the guidebooks, base Vegito is very powerful. It's stated in the Daizenshu that base Vegito's power is even greater than that of a Super Saiyan 3, which means at bare minimum, base Vegito got 400 times stronger. The boost is likely far higher than just 400 times though, as both Goku and Vegeta at their strongest could do nothing to Buhan, yet when they merge into Vegito, they absolutely stomp him in base, especially when you remember the rival boost that should be applicable during the Buu saga. Super Vegito is able to no-diff Buhan and even resist his transmutation hacks after he turns Vegito into a jawbreaker. Vegito is able to retain his power, speed, and sentience, as he's able to still absolutely destroy Buhan. In Dragon Ball Z's anime canon, Buhan does something that could actually take Vegito's power and overall scaling even higher. Buhan begins to get enraged as he realizes how powerful Vegito is. He begins to unleash an attack called Outside Space. This attack caused the space surrounding Buu to warp, which would in turn cause the walls between dimensions to break down, leading the other dimensions to rush through. Vegito himself states that if he didn't stop this attack, then the entire universe itself will be crushed by alternate dimensions. Vegito then proceeds to attack Buu and has to exert even more power than he has before as a Super Saiyan to get through Buhan's barrier and attack him, stopping the attack once and for all. Super Vegito being able to overpower Buhan, a being that generated enough power to destroy the universe and the living world, could be scaled from multi-galaxy, which would be the lowest of low balls, to just about universal, depending on how you interpret the cosmology of Dragon Ball. Buhan never displays this level of power again, as he was temporarily enraged. Even if he did, Vegito would still be stronger than him as a Super Saiyan, as Vegito has yet to truly go all out in Dragon Ball Z. He still has Super Saiyan 2 and a hypothetical Super Saiyan 3 on his belt. Now, honestly, since the debate between these two is one of the most heated in the fandom. I'll let you as the viewer decide where you would rank these two, as honestly they're interchangeable. But if you want to know my opinion on the debate itself, then I am making a video on it eventually, so. But if you remember that Super Gogeta comes from the movie timeline, there's honestly a debate to be made as to whether or not he'd be stronger than Super Vegito from the anime timeline, and this is due to the absurd scaling that movie Goku has, especially the Goku from Fusion Reborn / movie 12. Goku from movie 12 has to fight against Janemba, who in base form alone was so strong that his reality warping power was able to affect the entire afterlife, which includes realms like Heaven, Hell, and the Emma realm. Heaven is stated to be as big as the mortal universe, and is even stated to be infinitely expanding in size. Goku realizes he needs to use his full power to destroy Janemba, so he starts transforming into Super Saiyan 3. But just by powering up, Goku is able to shake all of Hell and the afterlife. His energy can be felt by the Grand Kai, who resides in the afterlife, and the afterlife in Dragon Ball is stated to be as big as the universe in size alone, with Hell stated to be even bigger than Heaven. As for Grand Kai's planet, it's shown to be a portion of the size of Heaven, which is as large as the mortal universe. That means that movie 12 Super Saiyan 3 Goku produced energy capable of shaking a universe, putting him way higher than his Buu Saga counterpart. If you super upscale Janemba's feat, and I mean unfairly, you can get base Janemba to multi-universal, which would be knocking on the door of or powerful enough to qualify for Dragon Ball Super in terms of feats. You also need to remember that all of these universe-sized realms can't even be seen in the Emma realm. This means the afterlife is so big that realms as big as the universe cannot be seen from a certain distance, and they literally vanish out of sight. And Janemba in his base form was able to easily affect this realm. This isn't even Janemba's full power, and once he becomes Super Janemba, he destroys Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta, who arrives to help. Goku is forced to teach Vegeta the fusion dance to stop Janemba, and the two fuse and become Super Gogeta. Just by being born and powering up, Gogeta is able to light up an entire galaxy, which the guidebooks call a Big Bang level explosion. But take that as you will, and this is why I say that Super Vegito and Super Gogeta can be debated, or their respective rankings can be interchangeable, as this feat is often compared to Super Vegito preventing Gohan from crushing the universe. Super Gogeta then outspeeds Janemba, does a bunch of cool flips and tricks, and hits him with an attack that cleanses his soul, aka the Stardust Breaker or Soul Punisher, whatever you'd like to call it. So if you believe that Super Gogeta is stronger due to coming from the movie timeline and sharing all of Goku's feats in the movies until Fusion Reborn, then Super Gogeta slams Super Vegito. If you think Super Vegito's feat from the anime canon is stronger, as well as the fact that Batora is stated to be stronger, at least during Dragon Ball Z's run, then Super Vegito slams. Now, the next few people on this list are contentious and will probably garner a lot of dissatisfaction, but it's just facts. The next few are also entirely up to you in terms of how you would rank them. We have Super Saiyan 2 Kaba from the Tournament of Power, who would be far stronger than everyone else on this list. Yes, even Super Vegito from Z and Super Gogeta from the movies. They would get ragdolled by Super Saiyan 2 Kaba, and even base Kaba from Universe 6 arc would defeat them both. Allow me to explain. We get introduced to Kaba during the Universe 6 arc, where we learn he is also a Saiyan like Goku and Vegeta, just from another universe. To figure out how strong base Kaba is, we need to go all the way back to the Battle of Gods arc in Dragon Ball Super. Goku learns of Beerus, fights him, and absolutely gets destroyed. Goku tells Genkai that Beerus is so strong that it wouldn't even matter if he and Vegeta were to use fusion, and they'd still lose. By fusion, he's obviously referring to the Batara, as that's the only canon fusion between Goku and Vegeta that existed at that point. There was the fusion dance which Goten and Trunks used, but Goku and Vegeta never attempted that until the Broly movie. There are the Dragon Ball Z's movies, but they aren't canon to Dragon Ball Z, especially Dragon Ball Super. The Dragon Ball movies take place in their own separate timeline. Anyway, Goku never specifies if he's talking about Super Vegito or a Vegito at full power, which would be a Super Saiyan 3 Vegito. Either way, it doesn't matter all that much, as a hypothetical Super Saiyan 3 Vegito would be 8 times stronger than if he were to fight Beerus as a Super Saiyan. Then go on to learn about Super Saiyan God, complete the God ritual, and gain the form Super Saiyan God. This time, Goku is completely confident in fighting against Beerus, despite being unconfident when fusion was at the table, which outright means that Super Saiyan God Goku is far above Super Vegito. If you're still somehow unconvinced, as the battle progresses, Goku actually drops down from Super Saiyan God to a regular Super Saiyan, worrying his friends as they believe he got weaker. We quickly learn that this isn't the case, and Goku actually got stronger as he absorbed Super Saiyan God into his base form, and can now stack it with other transformations. This means that the current Super Saiyan Goku that is fighting Beerus is far stronger than the Super Saiyan God Goku that was previously fighting Beerus. It gets even more nuts, as it's actually implied that Goku becomes even stronger. Beerus goes on to provoke Goku and bring out his anger, asking him if he truly has the power of a god within him. Many fans could interpret this statement as Beerus saying Goku has gotten weaker, but it's the complete opposite. Goku still has gotten stronger, but Beerus is trying to provoke him into showing more power. Right after this, Goku breaks free from Beerus' hold and powers up even more with Beerus saying, "That's it," and getting into a fighting stance, followed by giving Goku an impressed smirk. Why would Beerus say that's it if Goku is getting weaker? All the signs point to Goku getting even stronger, and we are later proven correct as Goku continues to fight Beerus. Even more evidence, Beerus uses even more power and attempts to destroy Goku and the Earth. Goku drops down from Super Saiyan to his regular form, is able to destroy Beerus' supernova that was going to wipe out the Earth. Finally, Beerus tells Goku that he's perfected the power of Super Saiyan God and completely made it his own. So yeah, Goku got far more stronger than just the initial Super Saiyan God absorb state that fans like to reference. For a more simpler and straightforward scale, base Goku end of episode 14, Super Saiyan God post-absorption is under that, way above Super Saiyan God Goku from episode 9, and again, way above hypothetical Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. After this, we get into the resurrection of F arc. Vegeta trains for 6 months, and it's implied that he attained Super Saiyan God here, as Goku states he may have actually surpassed him. Goku would join Vegeta and train with Whis to get a better grasp on ki control, training within his staff, getting that first glimpse of Super Saiyan Blue, and eventually unlocking it. Super Saiyan Blue is literally 50 times stronger than Super Saiyan God, as essentially what happens when a Super Saiyan God transforms into a Super Saiyan. Now with all that being said, we jump right back to the Universe 6 tournament arc. Goku and Vegeta at this point are completely equal, and Vegeta fights against Cabba and Base. Vegeta then states he's good, looks like we're evenly matched in normal form. This statement is pretty simple, but a lot of fans dislike it, and I can sort of understand why, but to say that Vegeta was lying or trying to make Cabba feel better is false. Vegeta is talking to himself, so there's no reason to lie to himself in his own thoughts. Fans also like to use the claim of Vegeta was smiling and undamaged while his Cabba was scratched. How could they be equal in base if Vegeta is unwounded? Well, you need to remember that although they are equal, Vegeta is far above Cabba as a warrior. He absolutely gaps him in battle IQ, experience, and even fighting ability. Cabba was in free fall, pouring his attacks, which made him even waste energy and stamina, while this Vegeta was fighting smarter, almost funneling his attacks and conserving his stamina. Whether you like it or not, base Cabba from the Universe 6 tournament arc is equal to base Vegeta, but obviously he's far below Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta as he gets one shot by him. So if Goku and Vegeta were equal at the time and had gotten stronger than their Resurrection and F arc selves, this would also mean that base Cabba is above them, or in scaling terms, this is the ranking so far. I'll put it on the screen. So yes, Cabba is that strong. The same God Goku who was a threat to Dragon Ball's macrocosm, absorbed that power into base and stacked it with Super Saiyan, would get curb stomped by base Cabba. Sounds crazy, but that's Dragon Ball Super scaling for you. Vegeta would then later threaten Cabba's family and planet Sadala, which would trigger the Super Saiyan transformation, which means the same Cabba that's above Super Saiyan God Goku from the Battle of Gods arc would get 50 times stronger. He'd actually push Super Saiyan Vegeta back, but of course he's holding back and one-shots him with Super Saiyan Blue. We don't see Cabba again until the Tournament of Power, and he's gotten far stronger. He recruits Kale and Khalifa to join Team Universe 6, and also teaches Khalifa how to use Super Saiyan. He wouldn't have a crazy highlight reel during the Tournament of Power, but he would be pushed to Super Saiyan 2 against an opponent from another universe, but would lose to Golden Frieza. However, the fact that a Gallic gun from Super Saiyan 2 Cabba causes Frieza to jump to Golden to defeat Cabba is saying a lot. It's debatable if Frieza actually needed this Golden form, or he just wanted to flex on Cabba, but that's up to you to decide, as Frieza clearly states he hates using more power than necessary during the Broly movie, and is furious when Super Saiyan Broly pushes him to use his Golden form. Now, these next placements depend entirely on how you scale the Black Arc and the Universe 6 Saiyans. It'll also be important for the top 7. If you believe Vegeta Blue is above Super Saiyan 2 Kefla, then the Black Arc Saiyans would be above Kale and Khalifa. However, if you think Super Saiyan 2 Kefla is above Vegeta Blue, then this would put Kale and Khalifa above the Black Arc Saiyans. Super Saiyan 2 Khalifa is a bit odd to scale, as she's able to fight with a fatigued base Goku and seemingly push him to use Super Saiyan 2. And once Kale is able to control her Berserk form and also use Super Saiyan 2, Goku has to use Super Saiyan God to overwhelm them both. Though mind you, he's heavily suppressed in his God form and fatigued from his battle with Jiren. Khalifa and Kale are shown to have far more potential than Cabba, as they not only get a grasp on Super Saiyan faster than he does, but even Khalifa is able to tap into Super Saiyan 2 before Cabba does during the Tournament of Power. She also has a decent battle IQ, as during her fight with Goku she's able to intercept his instant transmission and after image technique after being caught off guard numerous times. Kale, like Khalifa, is also weird to scale. She goes from getting bullied by Universe 11 fighters to getting enraged and bulking up like original Z Broly, and being so powerful that she can tank and walk through, grab Blue Goku while he fires a Kamehameha, and the only logical explanation is that Goku is heavily suppressed. However, once she's able to control her Berserk form, she's able to get a unique variation of Super Saiyan 2 that's powerful enough to actually hold a fatigued Super Saiyan 2 Goku in place, to where Khalifa can combo him with attacks. Base Goku Black, who hasn't even got a grasp on Goku's power or truly understands his body, is absolutely able to bully Super Saiyan 2 Trunks. Trunks has to escape to the future and seek out Goku and Vegeta's help, but Goku Black is able to follow him. Goku rises up to the challenge and fights against Goku Black as a Super Saiyan 2. While this form may seem minuscule, keep in mind that this is the anime version of Goku. Not only achieved Super Saiyan God and fought Beerus, but he absorbed that power into his base, meaning he can stack it via transformations. This Super Saiyan 2 Goku would absolutely destroy the Super Saiyan God Goku that fought against Beerus, and with his punches alone threatened to destroy the universe. And yet despite that, Goku Black is fighting equally with this even stronger version of Goku, getting to the point where he's actually able to adapt to Goku's power and surpass him. But before the battle can heat up, Goku Black's time ring activates and pulls him back into the future. After this, Goku Black begins to image train with Goku's body. He's beginning to understand it more and become accustomed to how it operates. Vegeta and Trunks train and eventually travel back to the future with Goku, where they re-encounter Goku Black. Vegeta intends on finishing things quickly for once and immediately powers up to Super Saiyan Blue and pummels Goku Black, but he literally laughs off punches from Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta. He then returns the favor by revealing his new form, Super Saiyan Rose. While this form is actually equivalent to Super Saiyan Blue in the manga, it's directly stated that Super Saiyan Rose is Goku's version of Super Saiyan in the anime. Super Saiyan Rose Goku is so powerful that even the directors of Dragon Ball Super's anime state that he is the strongest character excluding the God of Destructions. This means that characters like Hit or even Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 10 Goku pale in comparison to Goku Black's power. The same Goku that was able to move and surpass Hit's ability to skip through time, mind you. Goku Black goes on to prove his power and superiority by one-shotting Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta before overpowering Super Saiyan Blue Goku. Goku and Trunks begin to fight Goku Black, who's accompanied by Zamasu. Goku Black is still far more powerful than Goku, and Goku can't even outsmart him as he attempts to use instant transmission to get the advantage on Goku Black, but Goku Black simply adapts and copies instant transmission mid-battle, which is an insane level of adaptability, as it literally took Goku over a year of training on Yardrat to even get that ability. The Saiyans are forced to retreat, recover, and come back, but it's the same result. Goku Black has only become stronger, and even Trunks gaining a new form is not enough to defeat Goku Black. Super Saiyan Rage is comparable to Super Saiyan Blue in terms of power, as Trunks is able to briefly land hits on Goku Black, but he just gets overpowered. This happens one more time as they retreat, train, and come back stronger, but this time it's a bit different. Vegeta trained for 6 months in the Hyperbolic Time Chamber, and in those 6 months, he was able to surpass Super Saiyan Rose Goku Black. But Goku Black just keeps evolving and learning from battle, as he realizes that anger is the true power of the Saiyans. He uses the anger from Goku's body and his own mind, now as a vessel of the gods, to grow even stronger as he gains his Scythe ability. Goku Black's Scythe is not only able to be used as a weapon, but be used for clone summoning, but it's so powerful that it can tear a hole in the dimensional fabric. However, from here, Goku Black decides to fuse with Zamasu after realizing that they can no longer underestimate mortals, and after that, he's gone. But before he fused with Zamasu, it's very likely that he had surpassed Blue Goku and especially Blue Vegeta, as his Scythe was able to create clones of Goku Black that were in the same tier of Super Saiyan Blue power as they damaged and cornered Blue Goku and Blue Vegeta. Merged Zamasu's power is in a league of his own, as he states that he has an immortal body that can infinitely increase in strength, yet he's able to get damaged by a full power Kamehameha from Super Saiyan Blue, despite shrugging off a father-son Gallic gun from Super Saiyan Rage Trunks and Blue Vegeta. This is why the Black Arc is disliked by some fans, as it's inconsistent in terms of power. Merged Zamasu then begins to get corrupted, and his power increases even more, which forces Goku to fuse with Vegeta. Vegeta Blue and Merged Zamasu are actually quite equal, but Vegeta Blue seems to edge out in power, especially once Merged Zamasu grows bigger and gets more corrupted. While as Merged Zamasu becomes stronger, he gets slower, but Merged Zamasu's immortality allows him to tank a point-blank final Kamehameha, and keep in mind, Vegeta Blue isn't holding back. Vegeta Vegito Blue then defuses against Mode Zamasu, and we learn it's due to the fact that the fusion used up too much power. Before Mode Zamasu can kill Goku and Vegeta, however, Future Trunks steps in. At first he's able to keep up against Mode Zamasu, but all the remaining mortals on Earth form a Spirit Bomb which empowers Trunks. Goku and Vegeta also give up their energy to Trunks, which forms the Sword of Hope and allows Future Trunks to defeat Mode Zamasu, at least in his physical form. His will to survive is stronger than ever, and he becomes Infinite Zamasu. He doesn't get any stronger, but his influence just spans all over Earth, and his presence can be felt across different timelines, to the point where only Zeno can erase him and Future Trunks' timeline from existence. Sword of Hope Trunks is the result of Trunks getting the key of Goku, Vegeta, and all the other Earthlings to create a Spirit Bomb that he just flat out absorbs, restoring his energy that he lost and making him even stronger. Call it plot or inconsistencies, we still have to scale Sword of Hope Trunks, who's able to do what a fusion between Goku and Vegeta couldn't, which was so powerful that he can no-diff Mode Zamasu with an upward slash of his sword, whereas Blue Vegito couldn't kill Mode Zamasu due to his immortality, despite firing a final Kamehameha at him. This is why some fans believe Sword of Hope Trunks is above Vegito Blue due to having better showings and feats, even if it makes no sense. But that's entirely up to you. All you need to remember is that Vegito had the power to defeat Mode Zamasu, as he was stronger than him towards the end of their fight. But he didn't have a solution to Mode Zamasu's immortality. But due to being the fusion of Goku and Vegeta, and probably having one of the highest battle IQs in all of Dragon Ball, aside from the angels and gods themselves, if, and I mean if, Vegito Blue had the full hour instead of defusing early, it is possible that he may have found a solution to Mode Zamasu's immortality, but that is headcanon on my part. The next part is also going to be controversial. No surprise. So again, I'll leave it up to you to decide the placements for these next two. But honestly, spots 12 through 6 are interchangeable. Kefla is a bit more easier to scale than Khalifa and Kale individually, but depending on how you scale them, you can get them above Vegito Blue from the Black Arc. Base Kefla is so strong that just by powering up, she states that she can feel infinite power bubbling within her, as Goku and Vegeta also agree with Goku stating he can't sense a limit to her power, and Base Kefla's power is so great that it even distracts Vegeta during his fight with Toppo. Base Kefla is so fast that she's able to outright speed blitz God Goku, shrug off his attacks, and call them lame. Remember that God Goku beforehand was able to manhandle both Super Saiyan 2 Kale and Khalifa at once, but the moment they fused and fought in base, Goku was completely outmatched. Even if he's not at full strength and is fatigued. The fact of the matter is that Base Kefla is above God Goku at this point in time. Just by transforming into a Super Saiyan, it forces Goku to use Super Saiyan Blue, as even Whis and Champa are surprised at the power of the fusion. Goku is able to push back Kefla when transforming into a Super Saiyan. Her power is enough to force Goku to go to Super Saiyan Blue, and Champa also notes that he did not expect that Kefla's energy as a Super Saiyan would be so high. It gets to the point where Kefla is able to kick Goku out of Blue Kaioken, despite Kefla's arms steaming from a punch given to her by Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku. Goku is pushed into a corner and forcibly has to tap into Ultra Instinct Sign. Kefla is still a Super Saiyan, and her power is so great that we state her energy rivals the Universe 7 Spirit Bomb that Goku used against suppressed Jiren. She would then go on to use Super Saiyan 2, making her twice as strong as her previous power, which surpassed a Spirit Bomb. She's so powerful that even Piccolo states she might have surpassed Ultra Instinct Sign Goku from episode 110 in terms of power. So how is this significant to Blue Vegito? Well, Super Saiyan Kefla has more energy than the Spirit Bomb. When Jiren deflected the Universe 7 Spirit Bomb, the gods not only state that Jiren is the mortal who was stated to be stronger than his own god of destruction, but Shin even goes as far as to state that Jiren's power feels different from anything he's ever sensed. And Shin was present during the entire Black Arc, so he'd know how powerful Sword of Hope Trunks, Vegito Blue, Goku Black, and Mode Zamasu are. So that same Spirit Bomb gets deflected by a suppressed Jiren with the glare of his eyes, and Goku goes on to use Ultra Instinct Sign and actually damage a suppressed Jiren, forcing him to use more power. Kefla is then stated by Piccolo to be stronger than Ultra Instinct Sign Goku from episode 110, and she'd go on to get twice as strong by transforming into Super Saiyan 2. So if you use that scaling, then yes, it's possible that Super Saiyan 2 Kefla is above Vegito Blue, but that's depending on how you interpret the feat. But I do have Super Saiyan 2 Kefla vs Vegito Blue as a video, so you can go check that out if you want. Vegito Blue is pretty straightforward. Goku and Vegeta both eat a Sensu Bean and fuse, putting Vegito Blue at full power. Vegito Blue and Mode Zamasu then go head to head, and Mode Zamasu is actually far stronger in the anime, as in the manga he gets damaged by Base Vegito and absolutely gets destroyed by Vegeta Blue. Vegeta has the upper hand, but it's not a complete domination fight like in the manga or against Gohan. The fight is super tricky for Vegeta, especially because Merge Zamasu grows in power as well as his immortality, which doesn't allow Vegeta Blue to one-shot him, as Merge Zamasu is able to tank a final Kamehameha. Vegeta Blue is short-lived, as after punching Fuse Zamasu he immediately defuses due to using too much power, and Goku and Vegeta would go on to give Future Trunks their remaining energy. Dragon Ball Super Broly has some of the craziest potential and power growth we've ever seen, going from Namek levels of power to contending with Super Gogeta. Base Broly fights against base Vegeta, which adapts to his power and pushes him to use Super Saiyan. Remind you, this is a post-tournament of power level fighters. It goes even further as Broly pushes Vegeta to use Super Saiyan God in order to no-diff him, but before God Vegeta can kill Broly, he gets enraged and taps into his Ikari form. The Ikari form is essentially a Saiyan using the power of a great ape without actually turning into one. So Broly should get a 10 times power boost and is so strong that he can no-sell a punch from God Vegeta. Though it's arguable that Vegeta is still suppressed as he doesn't realize how powerful Broly has gotten. Goku then steps in and fights against Ikari Broly and gets absolutely ragdolled. Super Saiyan doesn't work and he has to use God to bind Broly and try to talk sense into him, but he's too far enraged, forcing Goku to become a Super Saiyan Blue. At this point, Goku and Broly are equal, with Goku seemingly having the upper hand due to having a better battle IQ and more experience fighting actual opponents other than Broly, who's just trained by himself and fought with his father. Eventually, Broly begins to reach his limits in terms of power growth, and Frieza decides to speed things up by hitting Paragus with a death beam and making it seem as if he was hit by a stray blast. Broly loses control and becomes even stronger as he transforms into a Super Saiyan, making him 50 times stronger on top of that Ikari form that capped out to being equal to post-tournament of power Super Saiyan Blue Goku. This leads Goku and Vegeta to retreat and learn the fusion dance, as they don't have access to the Batora earrings on hand, nor do they have time to contact Shin. Base Gogeta then comes in and is able to shrug off Ki Blast from Super Saiyan Broly before going Super Saiyan himself. Initially has the advantage, but is still able to be hit by Broly. Eventually, Broly powers up even further and uses Super Saiyan full power, and this isn't to be confused with Z Broly's legendary Super Saiyan form. As well as DBS Broly's form pays homage to original Broly, it is completely different. In order to prevent Broly from having a chance to adapt or get any stronger, Gogeta skips Super Saiyan 3 and God and jumps right to Blue and proceeds to manhandle full power Super Saiyan Broly, and the only reason why Broly survives is due to a wish from Chi-Lai to send him back to his home planet. Now, to understand how strong base Gogeta is, and before you start going crazy that Gogeta is above Vegeta so far at the list, it's because of the current state of Gogeta. I'm sure Vegeta, if he was in the Broly movie, would be interchangeable around this part. We need to remember that it's consistent within Dragon Ball material to where a base fusion, no matter if it's created by the Batora or Meta Moran Dance, is usually just shown to be stronger than each fusee at their strongest. A good example is Super Saiyan 2 Kale and Khalifa, who are nothing compared to a suppressed God Goku, yet base Kefla is able to speed blitz God Goku, uses his full power despite being fatigued, and pushes him to use blue. Base Vegeta in the DBZ anime is able to fight and curb stomp Gohan, with it being stated his power is even greater than that of a Super Saiyan 3. And in the manga, he blows off half of Merge Zamasu's body in base despite blue Goku and blue Vegeta losing badly to Merge Zamasu. Because if you want an example with the fusion dance, movie 12 Goku, the same one who could shake heaven and hell by powering up, was nothing to Super Janemba, who didn't even go all out. And even with Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta's help, he was getting destroyed. Yet Super Gogeta is able to force Janemba to use his full power, take an attack from him, and no diff him. Base Gogeta's performance against Super Saiyan Broly is far better than Blue Goku and Vegeta. The same Ki Blast that had them running for their lives gets swatted away by base Gogeta. He's able to outpace and overpower Super Saiyan Broly as a Super Saiyan, showing off his experience in battle IQ. Broly and Gogeta's fight is so intense that it shatters dimensions, and Broly powers up even further and becomes a full power Super Saiyan, sporting green hair that may be a nod to the original Z Broly. Gogeta begins to initially get overwhelmed, but the moment he becomes a Super Saiyan Blue, it's just over for Broly. He doesn't land a single punch and gets destroyed by Gogeta Blue, who would have one-shot Broly with his Kamehameha if not for Chi-Lai wishing to save Broly. But just to put it into perspective, in the span of a few hours, Broly went from Namek Saga level in terms of power to surpassing even Super Gogeta, which would be surpassed altogether by the full might and capabilities of Gogeta Blue. Ultra Ego Vegeta is currently the strongest of Vegeta in the main timeline. This is a new form he achieved after training with Beerus, and despite having a straightforward mechanic, its power is literally boundless. Ultra Ego is a form that involves the user turning the damage they receive into power, and the user can grow as strong as he/she desires, as long as the user is durable enough to withstand the damage. Or you could say his anger also powers it. There's a little bit of debate there. With Ultra Ego, Vegeta was able to do better against a full power Granola compared to MUI Goku, who got one-shotted by a clone of Granola with half of his power. Ultra Ego Vegeta is so powerful that he forces Granola, a mortal who wished to become the strongest in the universe, to evolve and get even stronger, and even then he was able to land hits and fight evenly with MUI Goku against Gas, who made the same wish that Granola did. I won't go too in depth with Goku, especially in the MUI form, as has been done many times on this channel. All you need to know is that Goku at the beginning of the Tournament of Power went from being equal to Ultimate Gohan and Golden Frieza, to getting Mastered Ultra Instinct and surpassing Jiren, who at full power was above the Gods of Destruction. This was all done in 48 minutes, and Goku has gotten hundreds of times stronger since then, specifically during the Mora and Granola arc. In the Mora arc, he learned how to use Ultra Instinct Saiyan at will, and also used a giant avatar version of it that was powerful enough to hold planet Moro in place, and give MUI Goku enough time to one-shot Moro, and in the Granola arc, he was able to learn how to use the silver-haired version at will, with its accuracy being so incredible that not even Granola could sense any weak points in MUI Goku. Its only weakness is that as the battle progresses, the accuracy of MUI decreases drastically. There was also the fact that Goku's mindset as a Saiyan wasn't the best for using the power of an angel, as he has to close off all emotions, which is well tricky for someone like Goku. He decided to create True Ultra Instinct, a form that lets him fight best, though MUI is still the stronger form, but True Ultra Instinct is just the easiest to use for him. But of course, the strongest Saiyan currently is Beast Gohan. To explain, we find out the Red Ribbon Army is still active and created two new superhero androids, Gamma 1 and Gamma 2. Piccolo states that both androids are on par with Goku and Vegeta. Since Piccolo has only seen Goku and Vegeta fight at full power on Earth during the Mora arc, we can assume that Piccolo is referencing that Goku and Vegeta, as Piccolo would not know that Goku and Vegeta have new forms since those forms were used off-world. This also lines up with Dr. Gero's mistake of never recording Goku and Vegeta's battles during space, as all the way back during the Cell Saga he was unaware of the fact that Vegeta was a Super Saiyan and only got Frieza's DNA because he came to Earth. Piccolo would then go on to get his potential unlocked via the Dragon Balls, and be able to fight on par with Gamma 2, but his power still isn't enough, and Piccolo was able to evolve into Orange Piccolo. Orange Piccolo is so strong that he's able to one-shot Gamma 2, with Toriyama even confirming that Orange Piccolo has power that is on par with Goku and Vegeta. However, Cell Max is released early before his completion, and everybody has to team up to defeat Cell Max. Cell Max was so powerful that not even Broly would be able to defeat him, as stated by Toriyama. Cell Max was then shown to be above Orange Piccolo, Gamma 1 and Gamma 2. Even in Orange Piccolo's giant form, he was still no match for Cell Max, and just when Piccolo is at death's door, Beast Gohan awakens. Beast Gohan is so strong that Cell Max can't even punch through his aura, and just one kick did more damage than any of the other fighters present. Beast Gohan would then go up to charge a special beam cannon and destroy Cell Max, ending the threat. We then get a small time skip between the superhero arc and Dragon Ball Super, chapter 102 and 103, where it's revealed Piccolo not only taught him how to control the beast form, but Gohan has almost mastered it. However, Gohan still has trouble properly drawing out its full strength consistently, due to the possibility of his anger overflowing to a point where he might go berserk, similar to Broly. However, not all hope was lost. It's revealed during his fight with Goku that he found a workaround to the single flaw of the beast form. That being, he powers up to the threshold of losing control, but maintains it instead. Doing allows Gohan to utilize Beast's maximum for a colossal burst of power and speed. Gohan himself admitted that it was the only temporary solution to drawing out his power, but found it effective for his current proficiency with Beast. Doing so also appears to drain Gohan's stamina rapidly, as he was tired out after using this power for only a brief amount of time. Beast Gohan's power alone shocks Goku, Vegeta, Trunks, Goten, and everyone else present on Beerus' planet. We then jump to 103, where it's implied that even though, in terms of power, Beast Gohan is stronger, Ultra Instinct has the advantage over Beast due to the technique itself and the precision. Not to mention, in terms of fighting, Goku is just outright better than Gohan. He has decades of experience in martial arts and has several techniques under his belt, compared to Gohan, who's still pretty young, but an experienced fighter in his own right. Gohan powers up to the point where it seems like he's going berserk, but holds that power and uses it at its max. He does this against Goku, which not only shocks him, but is able to literally break through Ultra Instinct's defenses. The same very defenses that don't require thought and allow Goku to harden parts of his body, such as his chest, which Moro broke his hand on. What's even crazier is that the only way for Ultra Instinct's defenses to somehow get broken through would be if Goku lost stamina, which would then cause it to lose accuracy. But Gohan's raw power and speed was enough to break through these defenses. He tags Goku on the side and forces him to block rather than dodge automatically, showing Goku's accuracy is draining. He then lands a solid punch and kick on Goku, which knocks him out of Mastered Ultra Instinct. If that isn't enough proof, I don't know what is. Everyone is eager to fight Gohan, which confuses him, because it's clear that Gohan's power is now the goalpost to overcome and surpass. That, and there are numerous statements which confirm that Gohan is now the strongest again. So there you have it, Gohan is currently the strongest Saiyan alive, though his power may be surpassed once the final arc of Dragon Ball Super's manga begins. But you know, Dragon Ball will always continue as stated by this interview, so yeah. Also, for example, if you hate that Pan is not here, there's not enough feats to support that, at least in the canon. If we use like some GT stuff, maybe, but that's not what we're doing. Also, if you hate having Goku Black and that count as Fuse the Masu or something, then that's fine. I had Super Perfect Cell there because I think it's appropriate due to his Super Saiyan aura, but really the rankings don't change even if you remove some people, so yeah, that's what I want to address. There's the strongest Saiyans ranked. Thank you for watching.